Have you ever noticed that the more you dig into life's big questions, the more alone you feel? Like the deeper you go, the fewer people stick around to hear you out. It's not just you. There's a pattern here, one that stretches back centuries. Society has a habit of sidelining its deepest thinkers, not because they're off the mark, but because they shine a light on things most people would rather ignore. Look at history. Take Socrates, forced to drink hemlock for asking too many questions, or Giordano Bruno, burned at the stake for daring to imagine an infinite universe. Even Einstein faced mockery early on for ideas that seemed too wild. These weren't failures or fools. They were visionaries. So why do we keep pushing them away? The answer lies in us, in how we're wired, how we think, and how we protect ourselves from the uncomfortable. Picture this. You're at a party. Someone lifts weights like a beast. You're impressed. Another person rolls up in a sleek car. You're jealous maybe, but not offended. Now imagine someone starts unpacking a complex idea, peeling back layers of reality you've never considered. Suddenly, the room gets quiet. Why? Psychologists point to something called the spotlight effect. Deep thinkers don't just share ideas, they hold up a mirror. Without saying a word about anyone else, their clarity exposes the gaps in how others see the world. And that stings. Strength or wealth? Those are outside us. We can admire them without feeling less. But intelligence? That's personal. It's tied to who we are, our beliefs, our reasoning, our grip on reality. When someone outthinks us, it's not just their brilliance we notice. It's our own fuzziness staring back. And most people don't like that view. So what happens? They pull away. Not out of spite, but self-defense. This isn't just about feelings. It's biology. Our brains evolved to keep us alive, not to chase profound truths. Back when we roamed in tribes, fitting in was everything. If you got booted from the group, you were lunch for some predator. Enter the deep thinker. They ask why. When everyone else shrugs, that's just how it is. That kind of disruption, it trips an old alarm in our heads. Neuroscience shows that when we're challenged intellectually, the amygdala, the brain's panic button, lights up. It's the same region that flares when you hear a twig snap in the dark. To our primal wiring, a bold idea can feel as dangerous as a lurking threat. That's why deep thinkers get the cold shoulder. It's not personal, it's prehistoric. Here's where it gets wilder. Studies, like one from MIT in 2022, show this rejection shifts depending on the scene. One-on-one, people might lean in, intrigued by a deep conversation, but toss them in a group. The vibe changes fast. Why? Groups crank up the social stakes. It's not just about the idea anymore. It's about how you look next to it. If someone's unpacking a mind-bending concept, others start worrying. Do I seem clueless here? Am I losing ground? Suddenly, it's not about understanding. It's about saving face. In a group, people don't just hear the deep thinker. They measure themselves against them. And if they come up short, the instinct isn't to listen harder. It's to shut it down. This is why you might spark a great debate with a friend over coffee, but the same topic at a dinner party falls flat. Groups amplify status games. A deep thinker doesn't have to say, "I'm smarter," to unsettle the room. Their ideas do it for them. And the crowd pushes back, not with arguments, but with silence, sarcasm, or a quick subject change. It's less about the thinker and more about the tribe protecting itself. Ever notice how some people command attention without saying much? It's not always the sharpest minds who get the spotlight. It's the loudest voices. Research backs this up. In social settings, confidence often trumps competence. Think about it. A bold, simple statement, "This is how it is," lands with a thud of certainty. People nod, drawn to the clarity. Now compare that to a deep thinker. Well, it's more complicated. Let me explain the layers. It's truer, sure, but it's messy, hesitant. It asks for effort, and effort's a tough sell. This is why history loves its brash leaders, its populists and showmen, while the quiet geniuses scribble in the margins. Confidence feels safe, complexity feels risky, so society hoists up the loud and leaves the deep to fend for themselves. Here's another twist. Even when deep thinkers bring airtight logic, it often bounces off. Psychologists call this the backfire effect. Show someone evidence that shakes their worldview, and instead of rethinking, they dig in deeper. Say you point out a flaw in a popular belief, maybe something about how we've misunderstood happiness for centuries. You've got data, history, reasoning. But instead of, interesting, you get crossed arms and a lecture on why you're wrong. Why? Because changing your mind isn't just admitting a mistake, it's rewriting who you are. And that's terrifying. Deep thinkers don't just fight bad ideas, they fight egos. And egos don't go down easy. Now let's zoom into today. Social media could have been a haven for big ideas, right? A global stage for deep thinkers. Instead, it's a graveyard for nuance. Algorithms don't care about truth. They chase clicks. What gets clicks? Drama, hot takes, memes that hit you in the gut, not the brain. A 280-character zinger flies further than a 10-minute breakdown of, say, existentialism. The numbers prove it. Posts that spark outrage or awe average triple the shares of anything thoughtful. This isn't an accident. It's design. Our attention's been hijacked by what's fast and loud, not what's slow and true. Deep thinkers can't shrink brilliance into a soundbite, so they fade into the noise. Meanwhile, the shallow stuff, conspiracy rants, feel-good platitudes, rules the feed. The result? A culture that skims the surface while the depths stay untouched. So where does this leave you if you're one of those who can't stop digging? The pushback isn't imagined. It's real, and it's layered. It's wired into our brains, baked into our social rules, and boosted by the tech we lean on. But here's the flip side. This resistance doesn't mean you're wrong. It means you're rattling something big. History's deep thinkers didn't win popularity contests. They won the long game. Socrates died, but his questions still echo. Bruno burned, but we live in his infinite cosmos. Their ideas stuck because they dared to see what others wouldn't. If you feel that isolation creeping in, here's how to keep going. Find your people. Not everyone's ready for the deep end, so seek out the curious ones who are. Break it down. Truth doesn't need jargon. The best thinkers like Orwell or Camus made the complex feel simple. Play the long game. Rejection today doesn't mean failure tomorrow. Ideas grow roots over time. Guard your fire. Don't waste breath on every fight. Save it for what matters. Own the quiet. Solitude's not a curse. It's where the real work happens. If you've ever felt like your thoughts put you on an island, here's the kicker. It's not about you. It's about them, us, humanity itself. We're built to flinch at the unfamiliar, to shield ourselves from the sharp edges of truth. Deep thinkers don't just challenge ideas, they challenge comfort. And comfort's a tough thing to give up. But here's the silver lining. Every shift in history, every leap forward, started with someone who didn't fit. The misfits, the questioners, the ones who stared too long at the cracks in the wall. They took the heat so the rest of us could eventually catch up. So if you're out there, wrestling with the big stuff, don't stop. The world might not cheer you on today. It might not even listen. But it needs you more than it knows. Because the ones who think deep don't just see the world, they reshape it.